This is Dr. Carmen Smith, and welcome to the Galactic Shaman channel. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the changes that are happening here on the planet and the changes that need to happen. And this has to do with democracy and racial justice. Systemic racism has been rampant in this country since its beginning. But now we've come to an age where things are changing. There are some people that are scared because they feel like they've been taught and programmed that whiteness means that you have advantages. And if you have a darker pigment, that means that you need to be kept down. And if things become in balance where people are equal, then things would change so severely that the whiteness would no longer mean that you have power. And so people that have power and have had power for a long period of time and had the ability to keep people of color down, they're very afraid that they are losing power and that this will cause their lifestyle to be much different. They're afraid of all kinds of things. And these fears are not valid. They've just been programmed into us over time through the media, through all kinds of propagandized ways. So I'd like to talk to you about some of the things that need to come down and need to happen in order for real change to take place. And real change is taking place, there's no question. And we are going toward a more humane and loving and more compassionate society. In order to do that, there are things that need to happen. One of the things is that the FBI, the intelligence agencies, Homeland Security, and the government of the United States and other governments need to acknowledge and put on the list the white supremacists organizations that are organized in the United States. These can be the Proud Boys, neo-Nazi groups, skinheads, all of these groups that under the guise sometimes of patriotism really have an agenda of white supremacy. So white supremacist terrorist groups, whom in the past have been government-sanctioned terrorists, now need to come to the forefront and be on the list, just like ISIS, just like all the other terrorist organizations around the world that we have on lists. The ones that are homegrown white supremacist terrorists need to be on the list of active terrorist organizations working in the United States. This would affect funds and would also affect increased arrests, surveillance of communications, etc. Also, what needs to happen is that police organizations and military organizations that have been actively recruiting people in white supremacist organizations need to be called out, need to be held accountable for this. And people that are in organizations that have ties to the Boogaloo Boys and all these other organizations that cause chaos and terror and violence in the United States need to be expunged from the police departments across the country and also military. Those that are hiring them, those that are actively recruiting them, need to be held accountable. And the policies and unions that hold these situations in place need to be called out, and people need to be held accountable, and they need to be extinguished, these policies. So those are two things that need to happen right away. Whenever we see the government or other organizations moving in this direction, or asking people and forcing organizations to comply with expunging white supremacist terrorists out of law enforcement and the military, we will see some change. Recently, the government and Biden did an executive order to not have private organizations be given federal contracts for prisons. This is very important key step in this pipeline that has taken place for many years. It's the pipeline of being so afraid and creating fear around Black men or people of color. And when they have minor offenses, whether it's marijuana or whatnot, they're channeled into a pipeline of prison where private organizations get more money from housing people, and so it's a pipeline. So you have the white supremacist law enforcement. I'm not saying all people are recruited from white supremacist organizations, but there is an agenda. And once we're awake to this pipeline, this agenda of having Black men or people of color pipelined into the prison system as a way of creating terror and minimizing a population of people and diminishing power to a group of people and propagandizing that they have no humanity and so we can do this. This is going to stop. It is not going to continue. This is crumbling as we speak, and it needs to go further, and people need to wake up that in order to have a United States of America, we need to address the white supremacist terrorists organizations that are active in this country. As always, we need to keep our vibration high, knowing that love is all there is. And in order to really acknowledge and manifest this love, we need to address everything that is not in alignment with that. And we're doing that now. That's the good news. Love you.